I'm about to return home from a recent trip, and I realized that there are a lot of apps and websites that I check religiously in the lead up, but mainly on the day of my flights. And I thought that I would share those with you because I really do use them every single time I travel. And the first one is this, Flighty. This is my go-to, number one, always check it, always have it on. One of the few apps that I allow to send me notifications in my diverse range of airline and air travel apps. It is also one of the very few apps that I allow myself to pay for. It's not particularly cheap. There is a free version, which is excellent in and of itself, but the use case, the business case, whatever, for paying that extra little bit of money each year for the full weapons grade version is a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. This is a phenomenal app. Let me tell you why. Flighty is brilliant for many reasons. One is its simplicity. You punch in your flight, forward your booking confirmation to an email address, or automatically import it from apps like TripIt, and it gives you everything you need to know. Whether the flight is on time, what gate it's going from, and the gates are often announced way before the airline apps or even the airport information sign. I'm still not 100% sure how they do it, but it's magical at this point. It gives you on-time performance information. It gives you detailed information about the specific airplane you'll be flying on, how old it is, and even where it is right now. And that's useful because if your flight is due to board in 5 minutes, but your airplane is still out over the Atlantic, you're not boarding in 5 minutes. And the app will notify you if it thinks your flight will be delayed due to an inbound airplane. It also gives you a detailed timeline of your entire flight, including departure times, taxi and arrival times, based on the airline, the route, and the airport. It's updated constantly, and the amount of detail is truly incredible. While not strictly day of travel, another fun feature of Flighty is its historical flight tracking. Because the app has all your flight info, it produces some staggering statistics and visualizations of all the trips you've ever taken. Apparently, since 2010, when I first started using TripIt to track my flights, I've flown 1.2 million miles. No wonder I am tired all the time. It also shows which kind of aircraft you've flown the most, the median age of those airplanes, even the specific tail numbers you've flown on the most. You can get data by year too, and they put it together in a neat little summary, which is social media ready, so you can easily humble brag on Instagram. Because that's where we are as a species. All snidey old man remarks aside, this is by far the best app for day of travel.
Hey friends, I am sure that it has become abundantly clear during the tenure of our relationship that I am a big fan of Christmas. Always have been. Christmas has popped up in a number of our episodes, and that is no coincidence. So I am delighted that our friends at Filmora are sponsoring this video because they have launched their Christmas campaign with a host of fun Christmas features for your holiday videos, like Christmas vibe filters to spruce up your holiday footage and 3D Christmas titles to give your video a little production pizzazz. Or how about some Christmassy overlays for your social media posts, all built right into Filmora 13. And that's alongside those powerful editing tools you'd expect from Filmora, like AI copilot editing, a ridiculously powerful feature to take the heavy lifting out of your editing process, or the fantastic AI music generator. Just tell it what vibe you're looking for, how long you need, and hey presto, you've got music. Never waste time looking for royalty-free music again. So what are you waiting for? Download Filmora 13 for free with the link in my bio and start sharing those beautiful Christmas memories today.
I'll share something with you. I used to have a crippling fear of flying, like awful, paralyzing fear for most of my teens and 20s. The provenance of that fear and how I got over it are too long to cover in this video, but if you're interested, let me know and I'll think about making one. Anyway, one of the things that I struggled with the most was turbulence. I'm over that, but I do have a lingering fascination, curiosity about turbulence. And I know that a lot of people find turbulence uncomfortable. Fortunately, there are a lot of websites that help with that. And there's one in particular, actually two, that I check religiously.
The first is Turbly.com. Turbly is a relative newcomer, but it's fantastic. It's run by a PhD student whose expertise is in turbulence modeling and computational fluid dynamics. Yeah, I don't know what that means either, but what he has created is phenomenal. All you do is put in your route details, select the flight you're on, and it tells you in very simple terms how bumpy or smooth your flight's going to be and at which point of the flight you might expect turbulence. It also gives you additional information about thunderstorms as well as takeoff and landing conditions and whether or not your flight is likely to be affected by winds en route. A clever, clever little resource. But I am a data fiend and a recreational pilot, so I also use another site too, turbulenceforecast.com. This one is a little more on the technical side, but it's super detailed, and along with some simplified overviews, it gives you access to similar turbulence maps the pilots use, and those are the ones that I love. And for an explanation of what you're looking at, let's turn to old Alex, or I guess young Alex. I apparently recorded a video of a trip I took from Hong Kong to Frankfurt in 2017 in Cathay Pacific's first class, but for some reason, I never actually shared it with you guys. Part of the video was explaining why the flight from Hong Kong to Frankfurt was so bumpy, using turbulenceforecast.com data. So take it away, young, carefree Alex.
Now we're safely embedded at Frankfurt and at the gate for the next flight to Paris. I can show you why our flight was so bumpy out of Hong Kong, since in our last video, or first video of this series, you kind of told me that you found that stuff interesting. Some of you do, some of you don't. If you don't, just fast forward. But take a look at this. This is a high altitude turbulence forecast map from turbulenceforecast.com, which is a great site. And you can see, so there's Hong Kong right there. And you can see pretty much straight away there is a powerful jet stream at around 42,000 feet. That means flight level 420. And flight levels are done in tens of thousands of feet, so 420 is 42,000 feet. And the number of hashes after the initial indicator for a jet stream shows the speed and volume, if you will, so how big is it in the sky. Well, we were at 27,500 feet, and it was crazy bumpy, so it shows you how powerful that jet stream was.
Such youth, such naivete. Let's have a final word on turbulenceforecast.com from young Alex.
Look at turbulenceforecast.com, but don't let it freak you out. A lot of the stuff you're seeing on here is really just forecasted. A lot of it's inconsequential. Jet streams are great because it means your flight's going to be shorter if you're with it. If you're going generally in the direction against it, you're not really going to go anywhere near it. You might cross it, and that's where the bumps come. If you're going with the jet stream, you'll go into the jet stream, and when you transition from the smooth air to the fast air, you will get bumps. But actually, normally when you're inside the jet stream, it's pretty smooth, then you get to your destination faster. But don't let turbulenceforecast.com freak you out. But it is fun to take a peek at if you're into that kind of stuff at all.
Another website I doom scroll through while waiting for my flight is ExpertFlyer. I talked about ExpertFlyer in the flight booking episode, but on day of travel I use it for a very specific purpose: seat maps. In many, but not all cases, once you've checked into your flight, not only do you lose the ability to change seats, but you can't even see the seat map anymore. However, after check-in is when the most seat map activity happens. The airline is unlocking seats, moving people around, putting families together, upgrading people. Fortunately, with ExpertFlyer, you can see all that. And it means you can look for a better seat, an extra legroom seat, or a seat with a free seat next to it, even after check-in has closed. While standing in the boarding line on a recent filming trip, I had a peek at ExpertFlyer and noticed that an emergency exit seat had opened up and shoved Greg in the direction of the gate agents, who dutifully gave him the seat. Jackpot.
Oh no. No, it's not for me.
So there you have it, a handful of the apps that I use religiously on day of travel. And that's a list honed over decades, or apparently 1.2 million miles of travel.
Great job.
If you have a favorite app, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Until next time, safe travels.